Good morning. Welcome with Days with Jen. It's Thursday, April 2nd. Today we're going to be doing a Tunisian knit stitch in our 4-step or 3-step Tunisian tutorials. So today we're going to actually be using acrylic yarn for this project. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm working on with the cotton yarn. But before we get into today's project, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell notifications so every time I upload a video that you will be notified immediately of the new video. So yes, my neck is stiff this morning, so if I'm tipping my head a little bit, that's why. So with the knit stitch, yeah, everybody goes, well, isn't there a knit stitch with knitting? Yes, there is. But this is a way of still being able to do a neat looking knit stitch with Tunisian crochet. So it makes things a little bit interesting. So this is a project I've been working on of what it looks like with cotton. Here is the Tunisian knit stitch with cotton here. Trying to get this situated. Fingers are a little stiff this morning, but that's okay. So that is what it looks like when done correctly. And here is the back. Now, cotton, like I've said before, can take heat. It will curl up a little bit. You can iron it out. But we're doing our project today with acrylic yarn. And as you see with this crochet, Tunisian crochet hook, it is a 5.0 crochet hook. So it's a size 8. We'll be using. So I hope you have your drink ready to go. And so this is what I will be using, which is the size H Tunisian crochet. As always, we have our yarn today. I'm using acrylic, a worsted weight number 4 yarn in cherry red, pair of scissors, measuring tape, and a yarn needle. So we're going to do this starting out with about 20 chains. So if you remember back when we started doing our single crochet, we learned how to do a chain. So we're going to go ahead and do our knot here, little slip knot. So for this project, we're going to go ahead and chain 20. So let's do that real quick. So as you saw, we just did our normal chain. There's 20, and that's including the loop on our hook. So instead of doing like what we usually do by going in, we are going to flip to the back. And you're going to see these little bumps here on your chain. So we're going to flip it over. So instead of going into this very first one, where are we at? We're going to go into this one right here. We're going to go through that bump. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So it leaves us with 2 loops on our hook. We're going to go to the next bump, hook the yarn over, pull through. There's 3. And you're going to do that all the way down underneath these back loops. And there's also another way to do it on just doing the regular crochet. And sometimes when these back loops don't want to work real well, sometimes you just need to get help, give them a little nudge. Get them to go through. There's 5, 6. If you're not sure where you're at, flip it over and then you can flip it back and see where you're at. And depending on how you do your chains, this you kind of want a little loose just because you don't want it to bend too much at the end, which it does. But you can also easily, like I said with acrylic, if you use a mixed uh, spot on your iron, you can actually safely put 4 to 5 seconds on acrylic, just to kind of help flatten it out a bit. So this is actually probably the longest part of doing this, is doing it this way. And yes, I did practice this quite a bit this week, so that way I would be actually pretty good at doing this. It can be a little challenging at first. Hey, it's okay. Like I said at the beginning, like I've said with other videos, practice makes perfect. So we're at our last one here, and we're going to go ahead and go through there. So before we do our single crochet, we're going to make sure that we have all of our stitches on line. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19. Well, that gave me 19. So somewhere I messed up. So how about we do this? So that is one way of doing it, is going through those back loops. But I'm going to show you the way I actually learned how to do it. And yes, it was just like the normal Tunisian crochet that I learned how to do. So we're going to go into our next stitch, pull up a loop, and we're going to do that going all the way down. As you see here, I'm just kind of going down the aisle. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And just like with the acrylic here, you can actually connect these to make a nice looking knitted blanket too. 19, and we got 20. So let's go ahead and count our stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So like what we've done with our other Tunisian projects, I'm going to put this right over here, out of my way so I don't accidentally drop it on the bench. We're going to go ahead and chain 1. So single crochet through that first loop. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2. So we're going to do our reverse pass like we have with all the other ones. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. And you kind of want it a little bit loose, not too bad. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. If you're having a hard time getting them through both loops at the same time, when you yarn over, pull through 1 and then pull through the second one. And where I have my fingers there is kind of underneath a little bit of where I am actually pulling the yarn through. So I'm holding right before the 2 more loops I'm doing. So there goes those 2. So my hand's going to move up to hold it for the next 2 loops. Yarn over, loop, 2 loops there, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way back to our start. There's 2, 2, 2, 2. And we're back to our 1 loop on our hook. So through our Tunisian crochet, we've done the simple stitch, the purl stitch. This time, instead of going through just the loop here and pulling through and yarning over to go through to do another loop. We are going to go through this loop, and then we're going to go in between. So here's, you get your front bar, you have your back bar. So we're going to go through between the bars and push it towards the back. We're going to loop over and we're going to pull through, and that's going to leave us 2 loops on the hook. So we're going to find that next bar. We're going to go in between the bars, push towards the back, loop over, pull through. So we have 3 bars. We're going to go between the bars, push towards the back, pull up another loop. There's 4. And go ahead and give yourself a little room and go ahead and just pull up a little bit. So that way your crocheting here is kind of loose. So as you see with each bar that I'm going through, I'm going to the back and I'm pulling them through. To the back, pulling them through. And as I'm doing each one, I'm actually pulling what I've already, for these loops here. So I'm already pulling them down my crochet hook. Sorry, I'm a little warm today. So we're going to go ahead and keep doing it all the way down. So in between the bars towards the back, yarn over, pull through the loop between the bars back. So we have that loop on our hook. And as I'm doing it a lot of times, I'll pull my yarn down just a little bit, just to make sure I have a little more flexibility. Yarn over, pull through. I'm going through the next bar, pushing towards the back, yarning over and pulling through. I am going to push through the next bar, between the bars, push to the back, pull through. So got a few more stitches here to do. And if you're having a hard time seeing if you are actually going in between the bars, you can always put your thumb right here. And then you can always look at the back to make sure you went through those bars. We're going to go through the back right here. Pull through. Whoops. There, how did we do that? So now we're at our very last stitch here, and there's a front and a back bar. But instead of going through the 2 bars, yarn likes to do that to me. We're going to go behind both those bars and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull up a loop. So with every bar we do, we always want to count to make sure we have the adequate number of bars. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I have 20. That's what so the number you started with, you should always have the same for this project. And if you want to make it longer, wider, that's up to you. Or if you want to make certain size squares and then stitch them together, that's also a good idea to make a neat and interesting quilt. But always, if you're trying to make a blanket, always try to use the same yarn. When you're doing out the blanket, if you're doing certain things, you want to use the same yarn. Some you don't have to, but when it comes to washing, especially with acrylic, it has to be washed in cold water on a gentle cycle and either tumble air dry or hang it up to dry, because acrylic cannot be thrown in hot water in the wash. It doesn't work. It will basically fry it and your project will come apart. So we're going to go ahead and yarn over and pull through. So we're going to still do our single crochet. And sometimes when you go back behind both, it does not like to do this. So I have to a lot of times. I have to fight with it a little bit. And it's okay. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a battle to do that. So since we just did our single, then I'm getting ready to do our reverse pass back. So we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're going to do that all the way back. Just yarn over and pull through the 2. And mine is curling up a little bit. It's okay. It's normal for projects like this. The looser you do it, the less curl you'll have at the bottom. But also remember, when you go to do a blanket and you stitch it, the curl won't be so bad. But I still try each square, I do try to iron out a little bit, so it makes it a little bit easier to get it stitched together. So we're going to do a few rows like this today. So here is the back of our first knit stitch. And as you see with my front here, trying to get this to curl up. So you get the back and the front with this. There we go. Trying to fix this so you guys can see. Sometimes my fingers don't always want to flip it right. But there's the front, there's the back. So you can already see it's starting to give a little bit of a look. So as you're doing your project, so we're going to go ahead and do another forward pass, doing the bars, you will start seeing rows of V's, of little V's. So of course, this is always our first chain on the hook. We're going to go back through this bar, push through the back, yarn over, pull through. There's 2. Going through the second bar, pushing through the back, yarn over, pull through. There's 3. Go through the bar, push through the back, pull up another loop. There's 4. Going through the bars into the back, pulling up another loop. There's 5. Going through here, there's 6, 7, and keep working your way down. And a lot of times, as you hear me counting out loud, it helps me know where I'm at on the project, and I'm just pushing it down just a little bit. 8,